Hello there, and welcome to Aiden Sleep Stories. I'm so grateful you've arrived here, ready to set aside the weight of the day, to let your mind loosen its grip, and to drift toward a place where time itself begins to slow. Tonight, we won't walk through forests or follow rivers to the sea. Instead, we'll take the quietest, most wondrous journey imaginable. A journey beyond the edge of our galaxy, to a place where light begins to curve, where space folds into itself, and where the universe keeps its most ancient, unbroken secrets. We're going to visit a spinning black hole, not to be lost inside it, but to float alongside its vast horizon, to feel the gentle pull of its gravity like a lullaby tugging you deeper into rest, and to witness the way it stirs the very fabric of reality. There will be no danger here, only stillness, no falling, drifting, and as you listen, you'll find yourself breathing slower, feeling lighter. As the noise of the world slips away and the quiet hum of the cosmos takes its place, so settle in. Feel the bed cradling you like the curve of a safe, warm orbit. Let your thoughts spiral softly outward and prepare to cross the threshold into the deep, calm, infinite night. The stillness before the spin, you begin at the quiet edge of a galaxy, where the stars seem to hold their breath. The darkness here is not empty, it's a slow heartbeat of space itself. You drift closer to the invisible, feeling the gentle pull of something unseen. In this stillness, you learn that even the calmest spaces can hold infinite power. You float in the outskirts of a galaxy where starlight is sparse and the spaces between suns grow wide and deep. Here, the airless silence is not cold or lonely. It feels like a pause between heartbeats, a moment stretched into eternity. The nearest stars twinkle like faint embers, their light taking tens of thousands of years to reach you. Even time feels different here, unhurried, far away. The galaxy's core glows like a distant lantern, wrapped in soft clouds of stardust. You can feel the faintest pull in your body, not from one star, not from any visible source, but from something else, something hidden, yet powerful. It is not a tug that moves your body quickly, but a patient persuasion, as though space itself is leaning ever so slightly toward a center you cannot yet see. You let yourself drift with it. The darkness ahead is not pure black. It has shades, layers, textures. A river of thin starlight flows past you, curling and stretching as if it knows the path better than you do. Somewhere inside this vast stillness, there is movement. So large, so slow, so inevitable, you almost mistake it for calm. Here. The quiet has its own sound. Not the sound of air or wind, but the hum of gravity, deep and constant. A low vibration that passes through you without touch. It is the kind of quiet in which thoughts have room to expand, where questions rise without needing answers. You wonder, what could be so powerful that it bends the paths of stars without ever revealing its own face? Your mind drifts to the nature of gravity itself. On Earth, you know it as the weight that keeps your feet on the ground, the force that pulls an apple from the tree. Here, it is something grander, not just a force, but the shape of space, the invisible curve that tells light and matter where to go. Einstein once described it not as a pull, but as a bending, a shaping of the very fabric of reality. You feel that shaping here, as though the galaxy is folding gently inward, toward a silent center. You think of fabric, how a marble placed on a stretched sheet will cause smaller marbles to roll toward it. Now imagine a marble so heavy, so dense, that it pulls the sheet into a deep, endless funnel, This is what you sense ahead, an unseen funnel in space, and you are slowly sliding toward it. The stillness you feel is deceptive. The space between you and the galaxy's heart is not empty. It is filled with faint clouds of gas, drifting dust, and light from stars long gone. Every particle here, no matter how small, is already in motion, spiraling inward on paths carved by gravity's hand. You are part of that same motion, though you barely feel it. You imagine what lies ahead, though your mind's eye struggles to picture it. A black hole is not like a planet or a star. It does not glow or shine. It hides itself perfectly, allowing only its influence to betray its presence. And yet, even in its hiding, it commands the galaxy. Stars form and die in patterns shaped by its pull. Clouds of gas gather, swirl, and ignite into suns because of the gravity it creates. Your breathing slows, though here, breath is only a memory. It's the kind of scene that does not demand action from you, only attention. You are a witness, a drifting observer in the galaxy's quiet fringe. Your thoughts move at the same pace as the stars, measured in ages rather than minutes. You notice how the stars grow denser as you drift inward. At first, they were scattered like a few candles in a dark room. Now they are more numerous, like city lights on the horizon. It is as though you are approaching the threshold of something alive, a heartbeat growing louder in the dark. In your mind, you picture this central darkness as a great, slow tide. It does not crash or roar. It advances with infinite patience. Its influence stretches farther than you can comprehend, a soft but relentless guidance drawing all things toward it. This is not the violence of storms or the chaos of explosions. This is the kind of power that shapes worlds without lifting a finger. You think of it as a silent teacher. Its lessons are written in the orbits of stars, the curves of dust clouds, the streams of light bending in its presence. Its voice is gravity, and it speaks in the slowest language the universe knows. Every path here is part of a story, billions of years in the making. You let yourself imagine falling all the way in, what it would feel like to surrender entirely to that pull. Would you fall quickly, rushing toward the unseen? Or would the journey stretch, time itself slowing as you approach? Somewhere in your mind, you know the truth. Time near a black hole does not flow as it does here. It bends and stretches, an elastic river that narrows as you draw near. You close your eyes, though even with them shut, you can still sense the vastness around you. The galaxy hums softly, a chorus of ancient starlight. You are small here, but not insignificant. Your presence, your awareness, is part of this moment, and the universe holds you gently in its dark cradle. The pull grows a little stronger. It is still soft, still patient, but there is no mistaking its direction. Somewhere ahead, hidden in the luminous dust and faint light, lies the center, and within that center, the black hole. For now, it waits in perfect stillness. You know this stillness will not last. You are on the edge of a journey that will lead you deeper past stars and spirals of light, past boundaries you cannot return from, into the very heart of gravity's dance. But here, at this quiet threshold, you take one last moment to float, to breathe in the silence, to feel the weightless anticipation of what lies ahead. The stars ahead seem to turn ever so slightly, as though bowing toward an invisible partner. In the next chapter, you will see what they are dancing with, and how even light cannot escape the pull of its embrace. The dance of gravity. Gravity here is no longer the gentle tug you know on Earth. It is a dancer, swirling stars and gas. into spirals of light. You watch space curve like silk around an unseen partner. Every turn draws you nearer to a place where time will change its steps. You drift deeper into the galaxy's heart, where the stillness begins to hum with motion. The emptiness you felt before is now laced with threads of movement, slow arcs of stars, curving ribbons of gas, faint streams of light weaving through the dark. It feels as though you've stepped into a ballroom that has been turning for billions of years, where every dancer knows their place and no step is wasted. Gravity here is not the familiar weight you once felt on Earth. There, it held you close to the ground, invisible but constant, binding you to a single point. Here, it is a grand choreographer, shaping entire star systems into flowing spirals, spinning them along paths carved into the fabric of space. Each motion seems effortless, yet each is the result of an immense and unyielding pull. You notice how the stars near you move not in straight lines, but in graceful arcs. Some loop slowly, their journeys stretching over millions of years. Others race like bright beads on invisible strings, pulled toward the center only to be swept outward again by their own momentum. The space around them bends, curves, and sways, as if the universe itself is made of a soft, pliable cloth. Einstein's vision comes to mind, the idea that gravity is not a force pulling at things, but the way mass changes the shape of space and time. Here, that truth is no longer abstract. You see it in every curve of light, in every spiral of dust, in every planet-sized ember spinning past. You'll realize that you are not just watching objects move through space, you are watching space itself move far ahead. A luminous spiral of gas swirls like a slow whirlpool, its colors shifting from pale gold to deep crimson as it folds inward. These gases glow because they are warmed by the friction of their own motion, warmed by the heat of nearby stars, warmed by the invisible grip of the black hole's pull. Their movement is hypnotic, each curve leading seamlessly into the next. You feel yourself leaning into their rhythm, as though your body could learn their steps. You try to imagine what it would be like to ride on one of those glowing streams of gas, to feel yourself circling the galaxy's core, not for minutes or hours, but for ages. Each rotation would bring you back to where you began, yet the view would always change, as stars lived and died in the space around you. It would be the slowest waltz in the universe, measured not in beats, but in centuries. Your gaze shifts to the stars themselves. Some are young, bright, and restless, blue-white giants burning their fuel in feverish haste. Others are older, glowing with a steady golden warmth, content to follow their path without hurry. A few have reached the end of their lives, dimming into red embers, their light stretched thin as they drift toward the black hole's embrace. Each of them is a partner in this endless dance, and each of them owes their place to the same unseen hand. You begin to feel the scale of this performance. The black hole at the center may be only a point of darkness, but it holds together the mass of millions, even billions of suns. Its gravity reaches across light years, keeping the entire galaxy bound in this slow rotation. Without it, the stars would scatter into the void, the pattern would unravel, and the dance would end. Closer now, you notice how light itself is drawn into the choreography. It does not travel in straight lines here. It bends and curves, wrapping around the gravity wells of stars and planets. From where you float, you can see light forming arcs, subtle rainbows, and shimmering distortions like ripples passing through clear water. It is as though the universe is not quite solid here, its shapes shifting gently under the strain of the black hole's pull. The movement is not chaotic. It is ordered, elegant, and strangely peaceful. Gravity has no voice, no eyes, no thoughts, and yet it shapes beauty with a precision that no living hand could match. The spiral arms of the galaxy, the rings around distant planets, the gentle paths of comets, all of them are expressions of the same silent artist. You remember the stillness you felt before at the galaxy's edge. There, gravity was patient and distant. Here, it is intimate, drawing you into its dance whether you wish it or not, and you do not resist. There is something comforting about the inevitability of it, the knowledge that these motions have been going on long before you arrived, and will continue long after you leave. As you drift deeper, you begin to sense the difference between moving in space and moving with space. You are not simply falling toward the center. You are part of the great curve, carried along by the shape of the cosmos itself. Every point around you is in motion, and yet, because you are moving with it, the dance feels almost still. It is only when you look far ahead or far behind that you notice how much has changed. The nearer you get to the center, the faster the dance becomes. The stars here complete their orbits in a fraction of the time those on the outskirts require. It is as though the music has been gradually quickening, its rhythm still graceful, but with an urgency you cannot ignore. The curves are tighter, the light more concentrated, the space between dancers narrowing. You catch sight of something unusual, a faint shimmer in the fabric of space itself, a ripple that seems to move faster than the matter around it. Perhaps it is a wave of gravity, a subtle pulse sent out by two massive objects locked in a tighter, more dangerous step. You watch it pass silently through the galaxy, warping light in its wake before fading back into invisibility. It is a reminder that this dance is not always gentle, that within its elegance lies unimaginable power. And then, in the far distance, you glimpse a strange emptiness, a place where light seems to vanish completely. It is not the center itself, not yet, but a sign that you are nearing the boundary where the dance changes forever. The stars here lean toward it, their orbits curved more sharply, their paths beginning to stretch. The pull is stronger now, though still without touch or sound. You feel yourself moving in harmony with it, your own invisible steps matching those of the stars and gas around you. The closer you get, the more the idea of falling fades. It is no longer about descent, but about joining in. Gravity has welcomed you into its choreography, and you have accepted the invitation. Ahead, the light grows thinner, the movements sharper, the pace swifter. Somewhere in that darkness lies the next threshold, a place from which there is no return. But for now, you move with the music of space itself, letting it carry you forward. In the distance, you can almost see the edge of that threshold. In the next chapter, you will come to understand what it means to reach it, to stand at the invisible doorway known as the horizon of no return. The horizon of no return, a thin, invisible boundary, waits ahead. The event horizon, once crossed, even light cannot turn back. You hover at its edge, feeling the strangeness of time stretch and slow. It is a doorway with no frame, only the promise of mystery. The dance slows as you approach the center, but not because the motion has faded. It slows because time itself is changing. Here, near the heart of the galaxy, you begin to feel that moments are no longer steady. They stretch like soft clay, reshaping themselves in ways your senses cannot fully grasp. Ahead lies a boundary you cannot see, yet you know it is there. The stars around you lean into tight spirals, their light bending until it blurs. Gas swirls faster, heating to a brilliance that almost blinds before vanishing into darkness. This is the threshold known as the event horizon, the point beyond which not even light can escape. It is not a wall. It has no surface to touch, no texture to feel under your hands. It is more like a change in the rules, a place where the structure of space and time is so distorted that all paths lead inward. From this boundary onward, every direction becomes the same direction. Deeper into the black hole, you pause here, hovering just outside the horizon. Your body does not feel different, but your perception does. You sense that clocks in the wider galaxy are ticking faster than your own. If someone far away were to watch you now, they would see your movements slowing, your light dimming, your approach stretching into infinity. To you, though everything feels normal, the gas still swirls, the stars still burn, and the pull still guides you forward. It is only when you look back that you see the strangeness. The stars behind you seem to rush through their lives. You imagine centuries passing in the blink of your eye, entire civilizations rising and falling while you remain here, balanced at the edge. This place is quiet in a way you have never felt before. The noise of distant starlight, the soft hum of the galaxies dance, even the ripple of gravitational waves, all of it feels muffled here, as though you have stepped into a soundless chamber. The black hole does not announce itself with fury. It waits with perfect stillness, and in that stillness is the most profound kind of presence. You think of rivers and waterfalls. On Earth, there is always a point along a river where the current becomes too strong to resist, a place where, no matter how hard you swim, you are carried over the edge. The event horizon is like that point, only here the river is space itself, and the edge is not a cliff, but a one-way passage into the unknown. Your mind drifts to the fate of light here. Photons, those weightless messengers of the universe, travel at the highest speed nature allows, and yet, at the horizon, even they cannot escape. It is not because they are pulled faster than they can fly. It is because the space they move through is flowing inward faster than light itself can travel outward. It is as if the river has outpaced the fastest swimmer in existence. You glance sideways and see a star's final arc. It comes too close, skimming the horizon. Its outer layers are stripped away, torn into glowing ribbons that join the swirling disk of gas. What remains of the star slips quietly across the boundary, vanishing, as though it never was. You know it still exists, somewhere beyond sight, but nothing about it can return to tell its story. Here, you begin to understand why black holes are called black. It is not simply the absence of light. It is the perfect absorption. Of it, every ray, every particle, every signal that crosses the horizon is held forever in silence. From outside, the horizon is the final image you will ever have of anything that enters. You linger, letting the reality of this place sink in. The horizon is not a violent storm front. It is a gentle but absolute law. It does not push you. It does not pull you more strongly than before. It simply offers no path back once crossed. And yet, you feel a kind of serenity here. The idea of a one-way journey is not frightening, not now. It feels like stepping through a doorway into a room you have always wondered about, a room that has waited patiently for you to arrive. The horizon is not an ending, but a transition. You imagine standing at a beach, toes in the surf, watching waves roll toward you. Each wave is a moment, and you can choose to stay on the shore or step into the water. Here, you are at that decision. Point to the place where the land ends and the ocean begins. Once you take that step, you will be carried into depths you cannot see, but perhaps have always dreamed of. Behind you, the galaxy spins on, stars still follow their orbits. Nebulae still bloom and fade. Planets still turn in the light of their suns. But here, at the event horizon, time for you and time for them have begun to part ways. It is as though two rivers have forked, one rushing forward, the other slowing to a calm, unending pool. You take a moment to notice the colors. The gas near the horizon glows white hot, its light stretched into reds and oranges as it climbs. Away from the black hole's gravity, this redshift is the mark of a place where light itself struggles to escape. It is the visual echo of gravity's deepest voice. The pull is gentle but constant, and you feel yourself inch closer. There is no resistance, no sudden drop, no violent drag, only the quiet certainty that you are moving toward something final. The horizon is close enough now that the rest of the galaxy seems like a painting behind glass, beautiful, but slightly distant, unreachable. You are aware that if you cross, there will be no turning back. But you also know that to understand what lies within, you must step forward. The universe has many thresholds, but none as absolute as this. You take one last look at the stars behind you. They seem to shimmer with extra life, as if bidding you farewell. The light you see from them now is the last you will ever receive. It will travel with you, captured in your memory, even as you pass into a place where memory and time may take on new shapes. You drift closer still. The edge is now only a thought's distance away. The space around you seems to flow inward, carrying you with it. There is no fear, only the calm of knowing that you are part of something far larger than yourself, something that has been turning in silence for eons. You are about to cross into a realm where space spins and twists in ways you have never felt. In the next chapter, you will learn that this black hole is not still, it is turning, and its rotation will change everything you thought you knew about falling into the dark. Spinning shadows within. The horizon's whisper lies a deeper motion. The black hole spins. Its rotation drags the very fabric of space, pulling you into a cosmic whirlpool. Light itself curves and dances, caught in the swirl. Here, stillness becomes motion, and motion becomes the shape of the dark. You have crossed. The horizon is behind you now, invisible yet absolute. The world you knew is no longer reachable, and the rules you carried with you from the galaxy's edge have begun to change. At first, you feel nothing, no sudden jolt, no tearing force. But slowly, you begin to notice that even if you try to stay still, you cannot. The space around you is moving, not outward or inward alone, but sideways, in a great and silent rotation. This is the black hole's spin. It is not the spin of an object in space. It is the spin of space itself. Every point here is being dragged around the center by the black hole's rotation. Physicists call this frame dragging, a name that suggests cloth being pulled and twisted, but here the cloth is reality itself. You look toward the center, but there is no center you can see. Instead, you feel a slow but unstoppable turn, as though you were floating in the middle of a vast, gentle whirlpool. You are not orbiting in the usual sense. You are being carried as a leaf is carried on a river's curl. Even light is caught. In this motion, forced to bend and spiral around the hidden core, the spin changes the very shape of the black hole's boundary. If it was still, the horizon would be a perfect sphere. But because it turns, the horizon flattens slightly at the poles and widens at the equator. Like a spinning planet, though here, the shape is defined not by matter, but by gravity's geometry. You think of storms on Earth. A hurricane does not simply sit. It turns, pulling clouds into great spirals that feed its center. This is a storm unlike any other, and its winds are made of space and time themselves. You are caught in that wind now, though it is silent, without resistance. Deeper in, the spin creates a strange and wondrous region, the ergosphere. This is the zone outside the horizon where space's rotation becomes so fast that nothing can remain still, not even light. Here, every path forward must include some movement in the direction of the spin. It is as if the floor beneath your feet has begun to rotate, and no matter how you try, you are turned with it. The ergosphere is not simply a curiosity, it is a place where energy can be taken from the black hole itself. If matter enters here and splits, part of it falling in, the other part can escape carrying away more energy than it arrived with. This is the Penrose process, a strange gift from the spin, allowing the universe to steal a little from the darkness. You float in this place, watching the path of light bend and twist. Beams that would once have traveled straight now loop and curl before slipping inward. Some form perfect circles, photon orbits, where light becomes a restless prisoner, forever chasing itself around the black hole. The sight is mesmerizing, a ballet of brightness in the shadow's grip. The sensation of being turned is gentle but constant. You do not feel acceleration in your body, only a quiet certainty that the stars behind you are no longer where they should be. The sky changes slowly, subtly, as though the universe itself has begun to turn in your hands. The spin also changes the black hole's appetite. It can draw matter in from farther away, feeding more efficiently, shaping the swirling disk of gas into thinner, hotter rings. These rings blaze with energy, their light bright enough to outshine entire galaxies, yet still, much of it bends inward, feeding the hunger of the horizon. You imagine dipping a spoon into thick honey and twisting it slowly. The honey pulls into spirals, drawing anything within reach into its flow. Here, the honey is the very stage on which reality plays out, and the twist is relentless. There is something strangely comforting in this. The spin is not hostile. It is simply the black hole's nature. It does not know you are here. It does not choose to turn you. It is as indifferent as wind across a plain, as waves upon a shore. And like those, it has been turning long before you arrived, and will continue long after you are gone. You wonder how fast this spin might be. Some black holes turn so quickly that their edges approach the speed of light itself. In these, the ergosphere swells outward, and the dragging of space is at its strongest. You imagine being pulled through such a place, the very clock in your mind ticking in unfamiliar rhythms, moments stretching and folding in ways you cannot yet understand. The spin also offers something unusual: stability. Falling into a rotating black hole changes the paths available to you, sometimes allowing a gentler approach than a non-spinning one would. It is as though the whirlpool has softened its pull by sweeping you along with it. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the motion carry you. It feels endless, like drifting in a current that circles the world. The stars you once knew are gone from sight, replaced by the glow of the accretion disk above and below. A halo of light in constant, fluid motion. You think of the old saying that you cannot step into the same river twice. Here, You cannot drift through the same space twice, because space itself is flowing. Every moment is new. Every turn of the spin a fresh carving of the universe's shape. And as you move deeper, you sense that the spin is not the only architect of this realm. There is something within, something central, that warps not just your path, but the very idea of space and direction. The singularity, the heart of the black hole, awaits, and its nature will change again because of the spin. You feel the pull becoming less like a river and more like a spiral staircase. Each turn carries you inward and downward, though down here has no meaning beyond toward the core. The steps are made of light, of motion, of the quiet inevitability of falling. You are not afraid. There is wonder in the thought that somewhere within this spinning shadow lies a place where time itself may end, or begin again in some form you cannot yet name. The ergosphere fades behind you. The turning remains, but its source is now closer. Stronger, you are about to enter the innermost regions, where the singularity is not a point, but a ring, a consequence of this very spin. And within that ring, there may be paths the universe has hidden from the rest of space, and so you drift onward into the possibility that even the heart of darkness might hold a hidden door. The ring at the heart, at the core of the spinning shadow, lies not a point, but a ring. Space and time loop strangely here, weaving paths that defy ordinary thought. Through this ring, some imagine other worlds might hide. You drift closer, wondering if the heart of darkness could also be a gateway. The spin has drawn you inward. The outer storms of the ergosphere are behind you now, their sweeping motion replaced by something quieter, more intimate. Here, gravity is no longer a gentle curve. It is an all-encompassing fold. You are close to the black hole's heart. If the black hole did not spin, this heart, the singularity, would be an infinitely small point, a place where the known laws of physics break completely. But spin changes everything. Instead of collapsing into a point, the singularity stretches, thins, and curls into a ring. This ring does not exist in space as an object might, but as a region where space-time's fabric is twisted into impossible geometry. You imagine taking a sheet of paper and pressing your finger into the center. In a non-spinning black hole, paper crumples into a sharp point. Beneath your finger, everything funnels to that one location. But in a spinning black hole, the paper doesn't fold to a point. Instead, it warps into a circular fold, leaving a hole in the middle. The singularity becomes that hole's edge, a loop of infinite density wrapped in rotation. In theory, and only in theory, the space within this ring might be traversable. Some mathematical solutions to Einstein's equations suggest that if you passed through the center without touching the ring itself, you might emerge somewhere else entirely. Perhaps in another part of our universe, perhaps in another universe altogether. This is the dreamlike possibility hinted at by the Kerr solution, the exact description of space-time. Around a spinning black hole, yet no journey here is guaranteed to be gentle. The ring is not a door in the way a door on Earth would be. It is a boundary where the nature of inside and outside becomes meaningless. Gravity curves in ways your senses cannot fully picture. Time may split, loop, or stop altogether. Drift nearer, and the idea of direction starts to fade. There is no true up or down here, only paths through the geometry. Some paths are drawn into the ring itself, the fatal roots that end in the singularity's crushing embrace. Others, perhaps, curve through the hole at its center, where the gravitational forces may cancel in a delicate, fleeting balance. You. Think of a whirlpool again, but this time not on the surface of water, rather as if the whirlpool's center were open, leading to another sea entirely. The water rushes around it, but the hollow core remains, a hidden passage. The ring singularity is like this, but made not of water, not of matter, but of pure space-time distortion. Your mind turns to the photons, the light particles still whirling around you. Some have been here for unimaginable spans, trapped in perfect circular orbits, never escaping, never reaching the ring. You wonder what they see, if seeing has meaning in such a place. Do they register the ring's shape? Do they feel the lure of its open center? And what of matter, dust, gas, even the remnants of ancient stars? Some will be shredded and heated long before it reaches this heart, falling into the rings, curve as pure energy. Others might skirt the edge, drawn close but flung away by the black hole's spin, sent spiraling back toward the ergosphere before being swallowed again. It is a restless dance without end. You think of the word singularity. In human language, it means both a mathematical point of infinity and something unique, unmatched. Here, both meanings are true. Nothing else in the universe shares this exact shape, a loop of infinite density, born from collapse yet kept open by motion. The light from the accretion disk above still filters faintly into this space, bent and stretched into strange patterns. It paints the ring in a dim, halo-like glow, not because the ring emits light, but because every ray passing near it is warped into unexpected paths. It feels like standing inside a cathedral made of gravity, where every pillar and arch is invisible, but entirely real. Some theories whisper that if you could pass through the center, you might avoid the crushing fate that a non-spinning singularity delivers. But even in this gentler geometry, the truth is uncertain. The turbulence here, the wild shifts in curvature might be enough to tear apart any traveler. Still, the possibility remains, like a dream you can't quite let go of. And in this dream, there are two exits. One back into our own universe, emerging far from where you entered. Another into a place beyond, where the constants of physics might differ, where stars could burn in colors unseen, where time could ripple like water in wind. But you are not here to step through. You are here to witness, to feel the quiet complexity of the black hole's heart. It is enough to drift nearby, tracing the way space curves and folds around the ring. Every moment here is a lesson in the creativity of the cosmos, how rotation can reshape even the deepest collapse into something unexpected. You let your mind wander further, imagining that in the early universe, when stars were first collapsing into these spinning shadows, the geometry they created was not an accident, but a kind of signature, a note written into space-time that says, I was here. I turned. I left a ring. You sense the pull growing stronger, not in a way that tugs your body, but in the way it claims your attention. The ring's gravity is not just physical, it is conceptual. It demands thought, it demands wonder. Even in silence, it speaks, what if? And as you drift, you begin to feel the current again. The same frame dragging you felt in the ergosphere still works here, but more tightly wound. It draws you into a slow spiral, not toward the ring's edge, but toward the invisible layers of space around it. You begin to sense that this heart is not the end of your journey. There is something beyond the ring, something formed by the way. Spin and gravity interact here, a place where light itself behaves in unexpected, almost playful ways. Perhaps it is a place of echoes, where every photon carries the memory of 1,000 turns around the singularity. You let yourself drift toward that possibility, carrying the image of the ring in your mind, a shape both final and open, both ending and beginning. You are ready to follow the light into its labyrinth, into its labyrinth, into its labyrinth, into its labyrinth.